Welcome back. In this video, I'm going to be covering the second section of Business English Secrets, my latest ebook, and that is to do with the section on job interviews. Now, we all know that over the years, I've noticed with a number of my clients that gradually the world of business has become much more international. Businesses are being taken over by other businesses, and they're not necessarily national, they're international businesses. And consequently, the language that is the international language of business is English. And I found more and more people finding themselves in roles where they have to do business in English. And perhaps they even have to attend job interviews in English. Certainly for those of you who are starting out or are going for second jobs or more senior roles, often the requirement is to have to know English, and often the interview could be in English. And this is where more and more I've been coaching my clients in this area. And this got me thinking to write a series of posts on job interviews. Now we're looking at the first interview, and often the first interview will have a series of questions that are regular questions. And they will be your background, your current responsibilities, your personal characteristics, your strengths and weaknesses, your proudest achievement, perhaps the reason for leaving, and any questions you could have for the interviewer. So in chapter 6, the first part of the section on job interviews, I cover the three first areas: your background, personal characteristics, and your current responsibilities. Actually the other way around, current responsibilities first and personal characteristics. So the background often starts with the question, can you tell me a bit about yourself? And that's going to require you to think hard and focus and give a brief summary of basically your entire career history. That takes a lot of thinking. And so in this chapter, I show you how you can structure a good framework to answer that question. When it comes to current responsibilities, we're looking at how you're going to describe what you do in your current job or the last job you had. And so what is often useful is to look at also verb-noun collocations that can help you. So I put together a phrase bank of those. Things like, for example, handling, resolving meetings, scheduling events, those sort of things that you can learn in advance and have them at the back of your mind to bring out when you are in the middle of this interview. So that gives you some expressions that you'll need when talking about your current responsibilities. And then with your personal characteristics, what you'd like is to use dynamic expressions and phrases, to be, for example, broad-minded, detail-oriented, those sort of expressions that give a positive energy in an interview. So again, in this section, I also give you the phrases, and particularly in this chapter, I give you the phrases that you could use to describe yourself. And that's always very important in a job interview. In the next chapter, chapter 7, I then take you to the second part. So we're looking at your proudest achievement, strengths and weaknesses, the reasons for leaving your current job, and any questions you'd have for the interviewer. And now with the proudest achievement, I look at what sort of question is the interviewer asking you. And often it will be to ask you to describe a problem you solved. So there again, it's looking at what you need to do and how you're going to structure that question and how you're going to respond to that. Your greatest strengths and weaknesses are always quite tricky. Now, greatest strength, maybe you think, oh, that's good, that's easy, I can do that. But often what you want to do is to apply that to the job you're looking at. So look up, I share with you the tips on what you can do there, which is look at the strengths, the skills that they value most for the job you're applying for, you're being interviewed for, and apply that to your strengths. But of course, you want to be careful that you are being truthful and explain how your strengths would work for the job that you're applying for. Similarly with weaknesses, we all have weaknesses, But the key here is to turn your weakness into something positive and to turn it into something that you have overcome, that you have solved. Again, in this chapter, I show you using the expressions, using the language, and how you can do that in English. Because in your own language, you will have found ways on how to use your language to do that. But in English, it can be harder. So that's what we're looking at. So it's thinking about it psychologically and think about how you approach those sort of questions. The reasons for leaving could be, you want to stay positive, and so finding a way to be positive and for your reasons. It could be that you lost your job. So then, how to find another way to use this as an opportunity. And questions for the interviewer. Often people don't have questions, but questions for the interviewer are a good way to show that you've thought about the job you're applying for and you've thought about the company you're applying to. So it's important to have some of those questions at the back of your mind to put to them. And again, I show you how to do those. And in the last chapter, so we have 3 chapters in this section. In the last chapter, a lot of interviews are based on competency. In other words, what you're able to do. So in this chapter, I share with you how you would answer competency-based questions and interviews. So there is a structure which is called the STAR technique, STAR. And this acronym stands for situation, task, action, and result. And in this chapter, I show you how you approach a competency-based interview with this framework to help you work better. So that's it. That's the section on job interviews. If you like that and if you're about to go into an interview soon, then this section will be very valuable for you. So that's all part of Business English Secrets. Again, that's the book that I've got on my website and it's retailing at $9.99. So just under £10 to give you that real confidence you're going to need on your next interview. So I hope you enjoyed this video and has given you some insight into what you'll find in the section under job interviews. Until the next time, this is Shanti Kumaraswamy Street of English with a Twist saying ciao for now and happy English. And I hope, in your next job interview, things will go as well as you hope. Ciao. Take care.